My husband, 30, and I, 30 female, met in community college and married 6 years ago. He works with AI and I work as a part-time nurse. Obviously, he makes significantly more money than me. Still, we have thus far lived well below our means to the extent that my salary alone can support our current lifestyle. We live in a 2-bedroom house which was given to me by my uncle as a graduation present, and while comfortable, our daughter, toddler, is getting to the age where she needs a bigger house and yard to play in. I've been asking my husband to look into bigger homes in better neighborhoods for the past 6 months, and each time he tells me he'll look into it and he'll sit with me looking at homes that fit what we're looking for, only to back out of it before we take the next step. Then, last week, I heard him on the phone with his mom, 63, asking if she needed more money and if she wanted more consistently than last month. His mother moved to London to live with her brothers and sisters after her husband, my husband's father, died 7 years ago. He left my mother-in-law a large sum of cash, which she spent instantly to buy a large house in London and to move all her brothers and sisters from Iran to the United Kingdom, where they live together in a 5-bedroom home. I used to think they were each working or had some leftover cash from buying the home. But after I overheard them on the phone, I asked my husband how much his family needed and if they were struggling to make ends meet. To his credit, he was very straightforward with me and explained the whole scenario, detailing how they have no cash of their own and how none of them hold a job, and he's been giving them between $5,000 and $10,000 a month for the past 4 years. It turns out that when they'd all originally moved to London, my husband's 3 uncles between the ages of 40 and 50 had held jobs as delivery drivers or whatnot while his mother and aunt, 50, stayed home. Then, when my husband got his new job 4 years ago, which I've now found out pays significantly more than I thought, and he started giving them money, his uncles quit their jobs and he alone funded them. He's given them nearly $350,000 in the past 4 years, which is already a lot. But for a group of 5 able-bodied adults with a paid-off home and taking full advantage of all the publicly funded benefits of the UK system, it becomes far too much in my eyes. I started telling him how his main responsibility is to his family here and how his daughter's well-being and comfort should be his priority. He said it is a priority, how he's still saving up a lot of money for our eventual move, and that he's saved up more than he's given. He said it's just delayed by a year or 2 and that we had to wait for the housing bubble to pop anyway before buying an expensive house. We argued for a bit before he called me unreasonable and cold. I'm now wondering, am I in the wrong here? Not the idiot, he lied to you. It's a lie of omission, but he still purposefully hid his true income from you and never mentioned supporting his mother and her relatives. This is borderline divorce territory. You're supposed to be a team. $350,000 is a huge amount of money. What the heck? That $350,000 should have gone into 1. Your daughter's college fund, and 2. Your joint retirement funds. Has he looked at college costs? What if your daughter wants to go to law school or med school? OMG, hope he doesn't know her husband's finances at all, including his salary, or has seen any bank statements, which is a massive red flag. He's been leeching off of her free housing and salary while funneling his money to his family for years, it sounds like. She has no verification of what he's telling her. How could you be comfortable not having complete transparency in a marriage? And don't forget that the husband's family are all committing benefit fraud by accepting money from him and not declaring it to the benefits office. They would be entitled to 0 money from the government if they knew your husband was sending this money and face possible jail time. The family is using your husband's kindness. Is he really going to fund them for the next 40 years? For funsies, I would visit a divorce attorney and find out how much alimony and especially child support he would be on the hook for after a split. Considering his high income and the fact that you've been married since he started working, I would guess quite a lot. And since your uncle gave you the house, he would have to factor in new lodgings for himself. See how much he can afford to give mommy after all that. My sister has never been a prize parent. She married rich and had a baby because she was supposed to do that. Truthfully, she never looked after her own daughter for a single day. Even on Christmas, she would go to parties and her daughter would celebrate with us. Nannies don't work on Christmas. We all knew her daughter wouldn't have any semblance of a relationship with her. My sister would talk to her as she got older, but it was never about things she liked. It was always things like she'd book a trip to Disney for her birthday. My niece has been terrified of theme parks since she was small. My niece has just turned 18. She got her inheritance money from her grandpa and is set to start college this year. My dad drove her to her college dorm a couple of days ago. She's doing well. As soon as she arrived, she sent her parents a text informing them that she was cutting them off and to no longer contact them. No one's surprised, not even her dad. No one besides my sister, apparently. She's been complaining since it happened. She was incredibly upset. But we tried to warn her, if you don't start bonding with her, she won't care for you and all that. When she finally approached me and explained her feelings and how she just didn't understand, I laughed at her. I told her that we'd all warned her and that I was incredibly happy for my niece. She went and complained to our mom, who is potentially the only one on her side. She called me immature and said it was the wrong thing to do. I needed to apologize, all that. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot, but I'm curious what this apology would sound like. I'm sorry for not validating your feelings of abandonment from the child you abandoned. She treated her kid like a puppy and is now upset that her daughter is not a stupid puppy who loves her no matter what. Your sister brought it on herself. I hope the memories of those parties keep her company in her old age, because the daughter she neglected is free now and isn't obligated to do crap for her and likely won't. Treating her daughter like a puppy would imply she at least raised her daughter. She really treated her like a time-locked safe. Do nothing for years, then open up and grab all the emotional attachment just waiting there for you. Sometimes when someone makes terrible decisions like her, such as being a crappy parent, it's appropriate to laugh at their idiotic mistakes backfiring on them. I 100% agree. I'll never understand the parents who think, yuck, I can't stand kids. I'll wait until they're an adult and then they'll magically transform into my sister, best friend, clone, and we can go shopping, watch baseball, party together. It's going to be a blast. And then this predictable outcome happens and it's surprised Pikachu face. My girlfriend, 27, and I, 28 female, currently live separately and are talking about moving in together, except we've hit a snag. She rents and pays roughly $3,000 in rent, utilities and insurance. I own a house my brothers gave me as a graduation gift. My monthly utilities, insurance and property tax is roughly $2,500 per month. She makes about $50,000 a year, while I make about $300,000. All of this accumulated into the argument we're currently having. I asked her to pay $1,250 a month when she moves in to cover the cost of living here. I thought that was a reasonable request since there will be 2 people living here and that's half my cost. She disagrees and thinks it's unreasonable since I incur those costs whether or not she lives with me. I asked her what she thought was fair and her first answer was that she shouldn't have to contribute anything since the house was in my name and she didn't have ownership. That led to an argument until she relented and offered to pay based on our income. Since I make 6 times her salary, she said the only fair thing is for her to pay 1/6 the cost, so roughly $400 a month. I thought this was unrealistic, but she argued that it's fair since I don't even need her money because I don't have a mortgage and make so much more. I love her and never thought money would be an issue, but here we are. I don't know, if my girlfriend who made $50,000 a year wanted to move into my house that I own outright and I made $300,000 a year, I likely wouldn't even make her pay. That said, I think paying based on income is exceptionally fair for a loved one, especially when your discretionary income ratio is even larger than 1:6. I do wonder how she could afford $3,000 in rent, but that's another thing. I'm going to go with you are the idiot. Rich people get given all the opportunities from 5 to 25, then think they're superior to poor people because all that free university, free housing and no responsibility led to them securing high-paying jobs. My graduation present was a dinner at Olive Garden. OP got a damn house. OP, you are the idiot though, not for asking for a little help with the bills, but for making it 50-50 when you make 6 times what she does. Like, do you love this woman? You aren't interviewing a roommate. You're moving in with someone you supposedly love. And of course, everyone deals with finances differently, but asking someone to pay half with that income disparity? Come on. One of my 28 male friends, 28 male, is single, and he told me he has a crush on one of my sisters. That sister, 29, is also single. She and my friend have similar educations. She's a dentist and he's a chemical engineer, and political views. I know they both campaigned for the same candidate in the last provincial election. They both frequent the gym as well. I know my sister is looking to date, so I told her my friend was interested. My sister told me she would never date a man like him. Those were her exact words. At first, I thought she meant that he was a creep or he harassed women or something. I was confused because my friend isn't like that and I wondered if she knew something I didn't. But it wasn't about that. I asked her about it and she said she doesn't date men who use weaponized incompetence. She told me she knows my friend doesn't know how to do his own laundry and he's content to let everyone else clean up after him. My sister went on this tirade about not dating men who don't do 50% of the chores and pull their own weight. She said she isn't sure if she wants to get married or have kids, but if she does, she will be picky about what man she ends up with because she doesn't want to get saddled with someone who leaves her all the work. She said she knew my friend was a slob whose ex-girlfriend did all the chores and housework. I was shocked, honestly. My friend is a good guy and I've never noticed any of these things, she said. I told her this and my sister said I was the same as him, so of course I wouldn't notice. I'm definitely laid back and not a neat freak, but I don't know what she's saying about incompetence or men like my friend don't do their fair share. I told my friend my sister is slowly getting back into the dating game, but not looking for anything serious to spare him. He's looking elsewhere and no longer has her as an option. But I'm mad at her for not giving my friend a chance and making all these claims about how he'd be in a relationship. She says I'm the idiot for not realizing I don't pull my weight, and neither does my friend. I think she's an idiot for not giving him a chance. You are the idiot. Your sister doesn't have to give your friend a chance just because you think it could be a good match. She's expressed some obvious misgivings about him. You have absolutely no authority to override her preferences and insist that she gives someone with characteristics she's already expressed as undesirable a chance. Bro, is this the 1800s? Get out of your sister's dating life. Women don't want set up, much less be asked to compromise on important things just because some guy has a crush. The compatibilities you listed are beyond generic. What do engineering and dentistry have in common? Chemistry is about more than sharing vague political views and going to the gym? What the heck? You're not your sister's matchmaker. Stop encouraging her to settle. She could have given no reason at all, which still should have ended the conversation. Other fish in the sea, my guy. I think this rocked OP to the core that he probably views his friend as a high-valued man, or whatever tattertots call themselves, and for his friend to be denied struck him since he assumed just by his friend's job title and going to the gym that any woman would be falling over that dude. His sister broke that dream. Then, to add insult to injury for OP, he also has the same qualities that got his friend rejected. OP is reeling from having his sister bring down the hammer on him. Yes, seriously. It's not enough to just have a good job anymore. You have to be a good partner, parent, and housemate. Shocker. At almost 30 years old, a person can do laundry and clean up after themselves. You want a mommy to clean up after you and your friend, not a girlfriend. You are the idiot. Now go clean your room. My ex and I are split up. Our older son lives with him and my younger one lives with me. We're both not high income, but he landed a wife who makes 4 times of our income, and they often go out of the country on nice vacations, which he's been sharing with the kids. The kids want their passports now, thanks to his brainwashing. I initially said yes because he and my son caught me off guard and asked me if it was okay one day. Then I had time to think about it and realized how bad things are in the world right now, and I don't feel like it's worth the risk and danger of having the kids so far away from me and out of the country with their dad and stepmom. They also need my consent per our custody agreement to go out of the country anyway, and at this point I'd never say yes. So today, when my ex asked me if X date was okay for the passport appointment, I asked where he's even going to be taking the kids, to which he told me he didn't know yet, they just want to get the ball rolling because it takes 3 months just to get the passport, and they haven't planned anything specific yet, which I find sketchy. So I told him and the kids no, that he needs my consent to take them anywhere because of how bad the world is right now, and I'd never agree, so passports are pointless. My younger son got upset and my ex got angry also and kept repeating, "Are you just never going to allow them to go anywhere then?" I never said that, just not right now. So my ex is texting me now saying I'm an idiot and I'm robbing my kids of experiences, except I've never gone out of the country and don't have a passport and I'm fine so I don't buy it. Like, does a pre-tween and a young teen really need to experience Japan or England or whatever? They can go when they're 18 and appreciate it more then. Other than some initial disappointment, my kids haven't even mentioned it to me again, so I have a feeling they don't really care, and it's more their dad influencing them. So, am I the idiot? You are the idiot. The kids want the passports now thanks to his brainwashing. This isn't about the rest of the world being unsafe and dangerous, which it isn't. This is about you being jealous he married someone who makes more money than you and can introduce your kids to new experiences without you. Stop being selfish. Lady, there's no brainwashing going on. Travel is a good thing. It sounds like you're using this as an excuse to punish your ex, and weaponizing custody is gross. And yes, experiencing these things before they turn 18 is a good thing. While you may enjoy your limited life, limiting your children is not good for their development. Woman, do you hear yourself? You have no reason to forbid this. All you're doing is alienating your kids and robbing them of amazing experiences. You'd be much better off letting them get passports and then vetoing any unsafe trips. Although I can't think of many reasonable trips that would be that right now. It takes at least 3 months to get a passport. They may not have plans now, but will need passports in the future. If it goes to court, you will lose.